Hello everyone, and welcome to the second video this week of Bear in Mind's Bear Hug, where I sit and talk a little bit about wrestling. So this video is just going to be a brief predictions video for Elimination Chamber, which is happening tomorrow night, as of the recording of this video. So I'll get straight to it. Excuse me. On the card, so I'm going in what's listed. Obviously, I don't know what order it's going to be shown, but on the card, we've got the men's Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship. In it, we've got the current champion, Austin Theory, Seth freaking Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. This could be potential match of the night. Looking at everything else that's on, I think obviously the undisputed title match is going to have the most emotion to it. So I think as far as emotion and feeling, that's going to be the big one, obviously, especially in Montreal, Sami Zayn's hometown. That's going to be the one that steals the show as far as the emotion. As far as quality, I think this is going to be the one. Austin Theory, they're obviously setting up, he is one of those men of the future. He has the look. He actually reminds me of a young, like physically speaking, of the prototype era John Cena. He's obviously more agile than John Cena, and maybe not as strong, but something along those lines. Seth Rollins, obviously arguably the best in the world. So entertaining, both as a in-ring performer and just in general. He is the total package. Definitely, for me, probably the number 2 guy in the company behind Roman Reigns. And realistically, if Roman Reigns wasn't there, he would be number 1, 100%. Johnny Gargano, great wrestler. Hasn't really done a huge amount since he returned, but he's definitely someone that's worth having there. I think part of the problem with culling so many people like they had done in the years past is you don't have the depth. And yeah, sure, the likes of Johnny Gargano, he probably isn't ever going to be world champion, but he's such a good wrestler, such a good performer, that he will always be there to fill some spaces and fill some gaps. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as he is aware of that, as long as fans are aware of that. Although, you know, getting fans to kind of admit that not everyone should be champion is difficult. Then, you know, he'll be paid handsomely, he'll live a good life, he'll get to do the jobs that his dream job. So, you know, who can complain? Bronson Reed, what a guy he is. Obviously, he walked away from New Japan after having beaten Okada clean as well, which is a big statement. Obviously, with how big Okada is in Japan, that's a very, very, very big statement. So to come back to WWE when he potentially had a really decent Japanese career ahead of him, I suppose that shows how much faith he maybe has in Triple H. He is someone who's great. He is that big guy that they probably need, who is of that sort of physicality. And I think looked after, guided in the right way, you've got a guy there that can be around for quite some time, be an absolute beast. Damian Priest, obviously someone who became famous a bit late. He's nearly 40 now, but has done really well with Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. in their little group. He has a great look, big guy as well, but agile. Will do well in this. And of course, Montez Ford, who now he's bulked up a bit, is obviously over the last several months spent a lot more time trying to bulk up, and because he's a very tall man and always looked a little lanky. He was not shy of muscle, obviously. Just when you're that tall and that thin, it looks a bit. Obviously the look was just not quite there. He now has the look, that superstar look. They are obviously moulding him ready for a big push, potentially a world title down the line as well. Hard to say who's going to come out of this on top. I feel like it's going to be Austin Theory. Obviously, there's been plenty of talk that maybe it's going to be Austin Theory versus John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't have a problem with that. I think that'd be a great match. Then, obviously, with Fast and the Furious coming out soon as well, it has been shown in the past that when there is a big film starring a wrestler, be it The Rock or someone else, that comes out roughly at the same time as WrestleMania, if you can get that person on WrestleMania, then it does even better money. So I do think Cena will be at WrestleMania, because Fast and the Furious will be out at that point. It will add a bit of extra time. You know there's going to be some Fast and the Furious references in his entrance and all that. So yeah, it's good marketing for that. Plus whatever else he's got coming up, of course. Seth Rollins looks like he's heading towards Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Again, I'm fine with that. I don't like Logan Paul the person, but as far as celebrities that do wrestling go, I mean, he's fantastic. In another universe, in another existence, Logan Paul would have been a wrestler from day one, and he would possibly be one of the best, or at least become one of the best. So I think that's pretty much set in stone for there. I think there is an outside chance that Bronson Reed or Montez Ford win this. I don't think Damian Priest will. I don't necessarily think he needs to, because of how well the storyline is at the moment. Anyway, he's on TV all the time. I don't see what the title would necessarily add to for him. So I don't see him. So yeah, I think my odds on here is Austin Theory. Moving on to the second Elimination Chamber match of the night. This is for the Raw Women's Championship. So we've got Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia versus Carmella. Sorry, it isn't for the championship. It's to number one contenders for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. Obviously, Bianca Belair currently the champion. There's no chance she's losing that without an unforeseen injury before WrestleMania. She is an absolute star. She's got the look, she's got the move, she's great in the ring. I think the only thing that she's not quite as hot at is her mic work yet, but it's getting there. She's getting better every single time. So she's an absolute star, headliner. She is going to be prominently positioned at WrestleMania for years to come. As to who goes there, that's the question. I feel like it's probably Asuka, especially with her coming back recently and having the older, like, evil clown character type of makeup from her days in Japan. She is probably the one that will make a more interesting match for Bianca Belair at WrestleMania as well. And also, if Bianca Belair is going to lose it to anyone, Asuka's probably the best one to lose it to, realistically. So I'm going to go with Asuka. I don't see anyone else. I'm a big Natalia fan. So as an outside chance, especially as Natalia's been around for quite a long time now, and not that you wish retirement on anyone, of the people in this group, if she is maybe at that point where she possibly is thinking about slowing down a little bit, it would be nice to see Natalia in a one-on-one world title match at WrestleMania, win, lose or draw, give her the big match. So I think my heart would say Natalia, my head says Asuka. Mixed tag match, we've got Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Obviously this is to bring a close to the long-time story between Edge and his former faction, now led by Finn Balor. And also the little bit of a storyline between Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley, and it's a good placeholder for Rhea Ripley to keep her in the limelight, but without any real risk, heading towards WrestleMania where she's got Charlotte Flair. I sort of feel like Edge and Beth might win this, but it would be Finn Balor that takes the pin so that Rhea continues to look strong going into WrestleMania. Whether this is the very, very end of that story, I don't know. I think maybe, obviously there's been various rumours and fan castings and stuff like that of the Brood Edge versus Demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Obviously the Demon's not shown his face in quite some time. I would be down with that. I think if it happens, I want to see the Demon win. Or there's not actually that big of an age difference between Edge and Finn Balor. I think the younger guy should win. I think the one who is full-time should win. And I think in WWE, the Demon's only lost once, and that was to Roman. And that was probably to do with outside interference, knowing the bloodline. So let's protect the Demon as well, even though technically he's the bad guy at the moment, and it would be nice to see, obviously, the face win. But yeah, so I'm gonna tentatively go with Edge and Beth Phoenix. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna go with a no contest. They're going into this with a victory each. However, in both matches, Brock Lesnar is the one that's come out looking weaker, because in the one where Brock won, Bobby beat the crap out of him afterwards. Obviously, Bobby eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. In odd encounters on Raw and the likes, Brock tends to turn up, beat the crap out of Bobby Lashley, and so, like, it's fairly evens-ish. This is obviously a WrestleMania match. I discussed it in a previous video on the Rumble reactions. I think they're going to head towards some sort of MMA-themed match at WrestleMania, whether that be actually try and get an octagon, or a six-sided ring or what have you, so that they don't get sued or something. Whether they use the one that Matt Riddle's been in a few times with no ropes. I quite like the look of that. I think that's a cool looking match, and obviously the two of them in there beating the shit out of each other. Admittedly, probably only 8 minutes. It won't be a long match, but absolutely tearing each other apart. That would be an incredible visual. Or again, possibly more likely, we'll see Hell in a Cell. Brock is very, very, very good in Hell in a Cells, so I could see that happening at WrestleMania. But yeah, I think this is just going to be the two of them will beat the crap out of each other, and then that'll possibly it. We maybe see MVP interjecting, possibly. Just because obviously they've been teasing that Hurt Business are getting back together, so we'll see. but yeah, we'll see. I think no contest for that one. Undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn in Montreal. Obviously, everyone's heart says Sami Zayn. Everyone's brain really says Roman Reigns. I would like to see a Montreal Screwjob because I think however they get Sami to WrestleMania, I think it still feels like it's probably going to be Sami and Kevin versus the Usos, ideally headlining Saturday night. I think we need to see a tag team title match headline WrestleMania. We've seen women's title matches headline WrestleMania. We need to see a tag team title headline WrestleMania. And if it's ever going to happen, it's this one. So I think maybe that's where they're going. However, there is still that chance of if they screw Sami Zayn hard enough in this match, if it's blatant cheating, if it is to the level of a Montreal Screwjob type thing, where even maybe the referee's in on it, then there's that option to put him in the world title match at WrestleMania and make it a triple threat match. And maybe then make it a triple threat elimination match and split the titles. This is how I would like to see it. I still wouldn't give Sami the title at WrestleMania, though. I would have the first fall for the Universal title, obviously the one that Roman got first, beating The Fiend and Braun Strowman. I would have Roman beat Sami for that fall in that match. I would then have Sami or maybe Jey Uso come back later on and cost Roman the fall so that Cody gets his big win. Cody gets the WWE Championship, the one that's actually labelled as WWE Championship, the big one, the one that his dad never had, the whole story, the story comes to an end, finish the story, etc., etc. And then we could have Sami chase Cody, which I think tells a great story. They had a really good interaction on Raw this week. I think we can see that going. They, for me, probably will have better matches together than I think Sami versus Roman or Roman versus Cody. I still don't. There's something about it. I like Cody. I love Roman. I don't want to see Cody versus Roman. I definitely don't want to see Cody beat Roman. 100% for the combined titles. I would be very happy with it, the way that I've just described or something similar, but I really don't want to see him. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I think part of it is I can't see him of all people after everyone else being the one to beat Roman, but also I want more of Roman. I want more of this title reign. I want him to reach the 1,000 days as world champion. I want him to potentially overtake, I think it was Pedro. Who is it? Was it Pedro Morales? Whoever it was that's number 4 currently. I want to see him get that 4th slot. Of course, he's not going to take. He's realistically possibly not going to cross Hogan's run. Obviously, Hogan's first title reign was like 3.5 years, so that would realistically be him reaching WrestleMania next year. So WrestleMania 40 for him to beat Hogan's run. And then not a chance are they going to try and get him to beat Backlund's 6 years, I think it was, and Bruno Sammartino's 7. That would just be ridiculous. But they can definitely make him number 4. And I want to see that. So yeah, they're my predictions. I think Austin Theory for the men's chamber match for the United States, with Bronson Reed or Montez Ford as the likely other options. I see Asuka as the likely choice for the women's one, although my heart would love to see Natalya. As I said, I'd absolutely love to see Natalya in a one-on-one women's title match at WrestleMania. I think she deserves it. Edge and Beth Phoenix is slightly going to edge out Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley will look as strong as possible, so that she looks a good challenge going into WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar will be a no contest, and Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn, I think we'll get a Montreal Screwjob. And with that, I will see you next week, hopefully, with some reactions to Elimination Chamber. And then beyond that, who knows? Thank you. See you again.